Hi everybody, once again you are highly welcome to my YouTube tutorial, and in this video we are going to be learning about stock analysis. I'm going to be teaching you a lot and you are going to be learning a lot from this tutorial. This is a real life project and I'm going to be teaching you step by step on what you need to achieve. This might take up to part 3 or part 4 because this is the report 1 of the dashboard and this is the report 2 of the dashboard. You can see we have a different chart there, and this is the report 3 of the dashboard. I believe you wouldn't like to miss this. It's a real life project. Another thing I would like you to know is this. Please, I may not be able to provide the exact data set used for this project, but I'm going to provide something exactly similar to this data that you can use in order for you to practice along. You will surely learn a lot from this data. This is a live project. I don't want to tell you about a live project. I mean, this is a live project because the data the data set belong to a company and I'm not allowed to expose the data because data privacy, data governance. So I'm not allowed to give the data out for you to use it. So that is why, but I promise I'm going to provide something similar for you to use. This will really help you to probably you have a project in Power BI. It contains several steps, several aspects that you can learn from. You can see we are having purchase of 3,232,000,000 and we're having purchase efficiency. I'm going to teach you how to calculate this. We're having sales, we're having average sales order, we are having open sales. As you can see, we are having our sales versus purchase cost over time. You can see what we are having here. Can you just imagine? Just have a look. We are having purchase, we're having sales revenue, we're having average sales order value, we're having stock availability percentage, then we're having sales fulfillment rates. I believe you wouldn't want to miss this. Then when you come back here, you can see we are having purchase amount. Also, this is item category trend by purchase sales. Then you can see we have our inventory quantity, which is the stock that we are talking about. Then we have purchase year to date sales, year to date purchase amount, year over year percentage, and sales revenue year over year percentage. Also year, quarter, and month. So you can see we have the filter here. There is a lot to learn from this. So we are going to be taking it a step after the other. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to open a blank Power BI. And let me just tell you something that we can easily open a blank Power BI from this place. It's actually easy for you to do. So you can just click here, just make it a blank. You get your blank Power BI from there. So once the blank Power BI is open, then from there we get our data. So we just have to wait a bit. And if your system is somehow full, probably you have a lot on your machine like mine, it will surely take a lot of time before you get this data loads because it's a lot of data. But don't worry, we are going to find our way around them. So the first thing we are going to do is we try to get our data. So we already have our Power BI opened, or by clicking on blank report, then we go to get a data. Then from there we see where our data is. Probably I'm going to first of all test check test/CSV if the data is actually in test/CSV. If it is there, I think everything is fine. So I have my data in test/CSV. So I'm going to open. You can see we have a lot of data. So I'm going to be picking it one after the other. And I'm going to be arranging it the way it should be arranged. So the first one I'm going to pick sales order, and I'm going to move open. So let's wait for it to actually load. and then we used, and let's wait a bit. So we can see we have our 6 order A CSV. I'm going to transform this data. So you can see we have a lot of data to clean. So the first thing I'm going to click transform. So we have that one ready. Let's wait for it to actually open. Then the next thing I'm going to do, we're going to open the second data until we're able to get the all 12 data. So come to new socks, either you click down and go to test CSV or you can close. So I'm clicking it down, test/CSV, and I'm going to pick, I've already picked sales order A, so I'm going to pick sales order G, one after the other, sales order G. So one after the other till we finish the data open. So we already, you can see in this case we don't have to transform again because already Power BI have already shown us what exactly we need to do. So we click on OK. So we get the second data already. Then we go to new source, and after this I will just have to pause the video for me to upload the remaining 12 data, but you will see everything there. Then the next thing I'm going to have, I already have A purchase, I already have G sales, sorry, then I'm going to have J sales order, then I'm going to open this. So we are going to have it open also. You can see we have our sales. Then the next thing we are going to have our purchase. So this is our sales already. We have A, G, and J. Then we are going to have our other data ready. So as you can see, we have our 12 data open. So you can count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 data open. Then the first thing we are going to do, let's come down here. We're going to start from the first steps, which is our data, uploading our data into the Power Query. We've already uploaded our data into the Power Query editor. Then the second thing we're going to do, we're going to start with what we call data pre-processing. And in this data pre-processing, this is where we are going to be cleaning our data. We are going to be making an adjustment, making the right process about the data before we now close and apply in order for us to start visualizing our data one after the other. So the first thing I'm going to do is, you can see we have 12 data but into 4 places. As you can see, we have sales order A, we have G 6 order, we have J 6 order, and we have purchase. A order, G purchase order, J purchase order, till we have them to inventory and item. Yeah, you may say, okay, let's clean this data. First of all, after cleaning this data, then we upload it. You can see we are having all these 3 belongs to just a sales data. All this purchase, A, G, and J also belongs to purchase. And the A inventory, G inventory, and J inventory belongs to just the inventory. So that means we are having a discussed like a sales in different aspects in 30 places, and we're having purchase in 30 places. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to append. We are going to combine the one that are the same. We are going to combine them together. So that is append. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click on A. Then I'm going to, you can see we have append, we have append query, then we have append as new. Now, there's something I want you to understand here. I'm not going to use append query. Do you know why? If I used append query, because this is the original data, and you can see I've not done any cleaning in it. Then I want this 1, 2, 3 in a special place. I also want this 1, 2, 3 sales purchase in a special place. inventory also, I want to have them in a different or in a different data set apart from the original one that we have. So that is why we are not going to use append. If I'm using append, definitely I'm still going to be having, that means I'm joining the G and the J to this A. That is by using this append query. But I don't want that. I want a new table entirely. So by using append as new, it gives us a new table. So whatever we want to do, we do it in that new table, then we leave the original untouched. So let's click append query now, and let's wait it for it to open it, and you will see what I'm saying. So we have append, we have two table, we have three, but in our home case, remember we have three. We have cells A, we have G cells, then we have J cells. So we are going to use three. Then the first one is we have our cells already, because I click on the cells table A. Then the next thing we are going to choose is we look for our G cells order. This is our G cells order. Then you click hard. Then we go to our J6 order. Let's look for our J6 order. You can see we have it. Then we click hard. Then we click OK. And let's wait for it. You can see what I'm saying. We have a new table. That is by using append as new. If we use just append, we will not have a new table here. So by using append as new, it means we're having a new table, and we're having these three, all the cells in one one table. So we can do whatever we want here. All these A, G, and G, they are all in what we have here. So we can do whatever we want here without affecting the original data. So that is the logic. So what I'm going to name this as sales order. Just a sales order. Pardon me for that. For sales, I'm going to name it as sales order. So put as, then I'm going to click OK. Then we have our sales order here. Then the next thing we are going to do the same way again. We go to purchase. Then we go to append. Then we are going to append as new also to have the purchase table here. So that is the logic that we want to do. Then let's wait for it to open. Then we have three, because we have three data. We already have our purchase order. So we look for purchase G. So where is our purchase G? This is our purchase G. We add it to it. Then we look for purchase J. This is our purchase J. You can see we add it to it, because I populate this data according to the way I want them to be. If you want item first, arrange it first. So that is why it was easier for me to just pick. So we have the three, A, G, and G in order. This is our purchase. So I click OK. Then we are going to have our purchase here. Then I'm going to name it as well as purchase order. So we have a purchase order. I'm going to click OK, then enter. Then we have our purchase. Then we go to our inventory. I'm going to click on the inventory. Then I will go to append query. Then append query as new. Then we wait for it to open. It's the same method we are going to use to get the 4 data. So we'll go to 3, because we're having 3 data already. We have our A inventory. Let's scroll down. Then we have our G inventory we had. Then we have our J inventory we had as well. Then I click OK. So we're just having our inventory. So this is our inventory table. You can see we are combining all this to have just one table. Then the next thing, I'm going to item. Then from the item, we go to the same means that we use, append as new. Then from there, let's wait for it to open. Then we go to our 3 also, because we have 3 table. Then we have this is our item A. Then we go to item G we had. Then we go to item J we had as well. Then we click OK. So we are done with our three. And with our fourth table, so we have items here. So here's our items table. So we have click OK. Now, the next thing I want to teach you is this. You can see we can't just leave all this the way it is here. It makes the data somehow look rough. To me, it's not neat enough. So we are going to create a group, and that group that we're going to create, we're going to create a group and copy, or this not even copy, and moved from this item, from this A sales order to this item J. We are going to move them to the new group, so we just want this alone outside. Then we can now do whatever we want in this table without affecting this. So come down here, then we are going to right click, new group. So just create a new group and we name it as source. So please, if you find this video interesting, if you find this video useful, please subscribe, please like, please also comment. You can see we have our new socks here. Then we can just begin to move. Remember, we have 16 now because already we created extra 4, which is our new table. So we are going to move this, just move it to the socks, then move it to the socks. Just drag and drop. That's just all you have to do. You move it to the socks. Then we have 3 already. We can just close this so that it will not be confusing to you. We have 3. Then purchase, move it. Then we have, what else do we have again? We have our G purchase, move it down there. Then we have our J purchase, move it down there. So we have that already. So you can see we have 6. Then we have a J inventory, A inventory, G inventory. Then we have J inventory. So we have it there. Then the next thing we have our item inventory. We put the item inventory. Then we have G item. Then we have J item. So we have the 12 data that we have initially, we have it there. Then we have our new tables. Now, everything we want to do, cleaning the data, whatever we want to do, we're going to do it in these new tables that we have without affecting the 12 that we have. You remember, we have 3 sales data and we have already appended them. We have 3 purchase data, we have already appended them. We have 3 inventory, we append them. Then we have 3 items, we append them. That means we join them together to become one table. That is what we actually did, because they are similar, they are the same. So we add them together. The next thing I'm going to do so that I won't forget is I don't want to load all these 3. I mean all these 12. So I have to do it now so that I won't forget. Right click, then come to including in reports, remove it. I don't want to include in report. Then I don't want to enable load. What does that mean? When I'm loading this for data, I don't want to load this other 12 alongside with it because I don't actually need them. So I'm going to uncheck enable load. You can see it changed to italic. Then we'll come down to this also, including in reports refresh. No, I don't want to include it in reports refresh. Then also I don't want to enable load. So that is what I'm going to do to the old data because I don't want to include them in what I'm doing. So that is the purpose of doing that. So you can do yours as well because you don't actually need it. So you can just keep it. If anything is wrong with this, you can just come back here to do whatever you want to do. So that is the purpose of doing that. So let's uncheck the 2. We don't want to include it in refreshing our report. And another thing that we are doing, not because we don't need it alone, we don't need it, 1. Then 2, the second one is it will be too heavy for your machine. So it makes your machine slow if you have a small machine, or even though you have a big machine that with a bigger RAM or a bigger memory, but You have a lot on it, like my phone now. It's going to make it slow. Doesn't mean because I have a small machine, my machine is big, so I have a big memory, but because I have a big RAM, because I have a lot on it, so it will make it slow. So that is why we have to do everything possible to prevent all those ones as much as we could. So we are going to remove it from there. We don't want to load it, we don't want to refresh it, so we don't want to load, we don't want to refresh as well, so enable everything. Then the next thing you can see, the color, the writing change to italic, so that means we are not using all those ones, so we click this. So these are the things we are using. So we come to our 6th order now, and this is where we begin to do our adjustment. The purpose of doing this is this: there are so many things that we don't need to include in our report, so we begin to remove them. Do you know we didn't remove anything from this original data, original table, because we don't want anything to affect it. You may remove it and say, oh, I need this. Though, even though you remove it from here and you realize that you need it, you can easily come back here to do it. But we don't want anything to touch the original table. So we don't want the this header guide. So we take it away, remove it. We don't need it in our analysis. Item guide. Starting from this guide, we don't need this guide from it. So we're going to remove it. Then the item guide, we don't need it as well. We remove it. We just want to remove everything that we don't need to make our work more easier. So we don't need location guide in our report, so remove it. We don't also need the inventory guide. This could have been, let me see the inventory guide here, and let me come down to the inventory guide here. So if I'm having any inventory guide, I'm only having the guide. Let me see, location, item. There's no inventory guide, so it doesn't really have any meaning, because already we have, this is item guide. We have item guide here, and we don't have inventory guide for the inventory. Well, let's go back to our sales. And let me see what we have in the inventory guide. So you can see we don't need it, so we'll remove it as well. So transaction ID, we don't need it, so let's remove it. In line of position, leave it. Invoice type, leave it. Status, leave it. Quantity order, we need all those things. Now if we want to change this to date, then let's come back. This is actual ship date, and we have to, let's come down here. You have to, here. You come to here, then we change it to date. Don't worry, we have no, we are going to deal with that. Also, we have some clean data here. So here we also come here. This is a date. This is expected receipt date. We have no, don't worry. We are going to remove as many as we don't want. Then we have record ID. Let's remove the record ID. We don't need it. So we have this already there. Then we'll come back to the norm later. So we have the no letter, so we have this, you can see it's a bit lighter. Then we'll come back to purchase, guide, we don't need this guide, let's remove it. We have the item guide, and even, let me see, 19.02, 732, let me see, 19.02, item guide. Even the item does not even have the item guide, so we only have the item ID. So let's go back to purchase, and we are going to remove this. We don't need it. The item guide, we don't need it as well, so let's get it removed. Location ID, we don't actually need it, let's take it away. Purchase number, we don't need that, let's remove it. And another thing is invoice guide, We don't need it, so let's remove it. Then the next thing is we need the status, create date, transaction date, purchase. This is a date. So we turn it to, so let's come down here, turn it to a date. So we have none, don't worry. This is our receipt date, so we have to turn it to date. So we come down also to talk about those dates. The line position, let's remove this, but we have a line position in A. But this line position, in sales, let's remove it. We might also remove the line position in A. So we are just removing the unwanted column or the column that we don't need. For our analysis, we are removing them. So we still come back them again. Then we'll come to inventory. Then let's see the guide. We don't actually need it. Let's remove it. Location guide. Let's remove the location guide. Another thing is I would have said something, but don't worry. Let's continue. Item guide. Let's remove the item guide. Then we have our quantity as new. So we have this ID, we have to leave it like that. Then we come to the item. Then we can also need this guide. Let's remove it. The item ID. Let's remove it. We don't need it. Then we have to the manufacturer ID. We can leave it. We have it. We need it. Item what? We don't need this item what. So let's remove this item what. So we don't actually need all this. As you can see, we don't need them. So let me leave this. Then we'll come back to sales. Now, in this project, the first thing I want us to know is this. When you come to this date, let me come to the no date first. Let me start from this. And let me come to here. Let me load everything. Let it fully load and let's see what we have there. So you can see we have a lot of dates. So I'm going to uncheck everything. Then I'm going to check new. No. So let me check it and let me just wait for it to load. You can see the worst part of this is once I remove, you can see we have all this is NULL, that means not a number, not a date. You can see what we are actually having here. You can see what we are actually having here. Now, there are two things we can do. If you removed this date here, that means all the numbers here are gone. They are actually gone. You can see they are actually gone because they are not showing error, but this is no. So just imagine the number of no that we are having. So if I'm removing all this 17 columns, almost around 99 plus rows. So if I'm removing this, just imagine what is being removed. The amount of cells will be reduced. I hope we have not removed the amount of cells here. Let's check the amount. Where is our amount of cells? Okay, we have the amount here. So just imagine we have all this amount of cells that is going to be removed. So the only thing we are going to do, we are not going to touch these dates. We are going to leave them as no, as they are. That is the best advice I can give, because once you remove this, you are losing so many data. Because once you remove all this, everything here, they are gone. So, and we don't want to do that, because when we want to calculate the amount of cells, definitely the amount of cells will actually reduce, because when you come to the cells, amount, you can see we don't actually have a node there. Let's open it. We only have 0. So, and a 0 is not a node. A 0 is also a number. So you see, so we can't. So once you remove all this node, so you just imagine the amount of data that you are going to lose. So we are not going to remove anything. So we just leave it like that. That is why we remove the unwanted column. So we are going to remove the footer, put it back. That is what we are going to do. Then when we get to the stage of using our delt, then we are going to create a formula that if it is null, just give us something else to use. You understand? So in case you are having your own project to do. Then the second thing I would like to teach you, let's go to the sales, the purchase. We also have the same thing. You can see because it's just a null, it's not an error. So that shouldn't give us a problem in loading our data. So let's go to view and let's go to column quality and let's see. You can see we are here is giving us 100% empty. This actual receipt date is giving us 100% empty, but it's not giving us any error. So you can see we're not having any error. So we're just having an empty. So, and when we check this, let me see, let me load again. And let's see what we have there. So you can see we have no, but that doesn't mean everything's 100%. We still have some dates inside. So we are not going to remove this as well. So the way we did for the sales data, and we'll just showing you some things there. So there is no error. We are only having empty, the one that contains empty, but no one contains error. So since it's not containing any error, so I think we don't have any problem in our data. So we have this 100% complete, no empty, no error. Then we'll come to our item. In the item as well, we have 100% complete, no empty, no error. Now we want to begin to do something because we have to create a relationship between this, and we don't really have something that can give us a relationship. So first thing we are going to do, we go to, let's remove this and let's go to add column. Then we need an index number. So we're going to create index number. I'm going to use custom, and I'm going to wait for it to open. Then I'm going to make it 1 into 1. So that, what does that mean? Starting index 1, increment is also 1. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. So we have this. Then I'm going to name this as sales ID. We only have subsidiary ID, so I'm going to name this as sales ID. This as sales ID. I'm going to click OK. Then I will come back to, let's come down to home and let's go to moved. Probably we'll find that in our transform move. You can see then we want to move this to the first place here, so we'll move to beginning. So we have it there. Then we go to purchase. So in our purchase, we have to create also. We'll go back to add column. Then in this, we're also using custom. Then we're having 1, 2, 1, increment of 1. We can also use 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. So we're going to turn this to, let's name it to purchase ID. So we're having this as our purchase ID. So we click enter. So you can see we're having it 1, 2, 3, so something like that. Then we'll go to inventory. Then from the inventory, we go to, let's go to index, and this time around let's use from 1. And you can see we have 1, 2, 3, everything. So it's also the same thing. Then we turn this to inventory ID. This is an inventory ID. Then we click OK. Then we go to our item. Then we are going to have our item ID as well. So we go to index, then we have this. Because we are going to create a relationship among them. Then we have this as our item ID. So we have item ID. Then we have this as OK. Now, because we are having this and we like to create a relationship, so in probably let me come down to in sales. In these cells, because I'm going to be connecting the cells to the item, so I would like to have the item ID in the cells ID so that I'll be able to use it to connect together. Also, I'll be having a purchase and the sales ID, either the purchase ID in sales or either the sales ID in the purchase. And I'm also going to be having the inventory also in sales because we are going to be using all those ones to connect them. How do we do that? We go to home, then we go to merge. In this case, we are not going to merge as new, so we are just going to use merge. Because when we use merge as new, we are also creating a new table, which is what we want to do. So we have it as merge, just a merge, and we'll allow it to open. Then which one do we look for? First of all, I want us to start from item, so I will have to pick from the item, and let's go to just the item. So we have the item here, then the ID. I want to connect this and this together, and I want to bring this down here. And let me see. Let's wait. Now we are using fully used fuzzy machine to perform the match. Don't use that. Then we are looking. This is the default left outer or from list machine from second. So we're using left outer. So we want to see what will happen. Then just imagine there is a mistake here. Do you know why? We have 4080 of this. This 4080 is from this item, and this 3 is from this. So we are still going to have a null. So the remaining part of this is going to contain a null because we won't be able to use it to actually achieve what we want to achieve. But don't worry, we can still use that. Probably the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel it. Then I'm going to merge from source. Let me put inventory, and let me see inventory, and let me see if I'm going to have a full. Let me see inventory ID. Let me see sales ID. If I'm going to have all together. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to have sales. I'm still going to have this the item. So we wait a little time and let's see what we are going to be having there together. If it's going to be giving us what we actually need. These are the things that we have to do because there were no a column that we can use to create a relationship. So this also doesn't give us exactly what we want. So we have 6,209 of 3,001 of a 10, no problem. Let's still use it. I know what I'm doing. So we use it because we want to bring this down here. We're going to load this. The only thing we need here, we want to put the inventory into the sales. And because the sales and the inventory does not have the same, that is why you are saying that we are having short of. We could have said, let's use other means. Let me see. Let's use full outer and let's see what will happen in the full outer if we are going to have everything complete, because we can also change the direction and see if we could have a full everything together, but I'm not really sure because of the data set we are having. So, but let's try one or two before we finally decide to go back to the default settings that Power BI gave us to use. So we'll wait for a little time and let's see if we are going to have everything complete from this side to this side. You can see we are still having 6,209 of this. So we try one last more before we go back to the already we use this. Then let's try in only machine rows until rows only in first. So right, but this one is off from first, machine from second. So we just have to go back to this one and we make use of it. The purpose of it is because we just want to move this inventory to these cells so that we can use it to connect with the inventory. So we still have 6,209 as before. That's not a problem. Let's click OK. Let's click OK. Then let's expand this and let's uncheck everything and come back to inventory ID. So we want the inventory ID here, and we have subsidiary ID. So that means we can as well. So let me cancel this. Let me go back to this and let me see what we have in there. Nothing. Let me go back to, let me remove this and let me see if we are having inventory. So we go back to our match query and let me see once again for the last time, inventory, and let me see if we have. So we have this and let me see. So let's try to connect this and this together and see if we are going to have 100%. Because from there I would like to move this sales ID down to the inventory ID. So we have 311,551 of 311,551. You can see that we have full. Everything is full here. So that is good. So we can actually move that. Then we expand this, come to this side, expand, then remove this. The only thing we need is just we need this, the inventory ID. So we click OK because we want inventory ID in our cells. So we are going to rename this as inventory ID. Then we click enter. So we have this. Then the next thing we do is we move it to, so let's go to transform and let's go to move to the beginning. So we have inventory, we have sales ID, then it's beginning to get slower. One after the other is beginning to get slower because we are having a lot of data to deal with now. So I just want to move this. Okay, let me try to put it here. So we have that for now. Then I still want to move the sales, the purchase down here. Then let's go back to home. Then from home, let's go back to our append menu. This time around, I want to move from purchase. So we come down to here and let's look for our purchase, and we are going to use the subsidiary ID and also the subsidiary ID, and let's wait to see if we are going to have a full, and let's wait just a few minutes. Everything should be fine. So this is how you try to do your data preprocessing. Otherwise you're not going to get the right thing you have to. Please, if you find this video interesting, please, if you find this video useful, please subscribe, please like, and please click the bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And please also make a comment and just try to tell me what next you want to see, what next you want me to make a video on, and please also share. That way also encourage. Doing this encourage so many of us that are doing this to teach people. It encourages us to do more of those videos. So please like, please comment, and also please subscribe, and also click the bell so you'll be notified when we upload a new video. So we're still waiting for it to actually give us what we're expecting, if we are going to get a full or we are going to get a partial, but I think we should get a full because from the inventory to the sales we have a full by using subsidiary ID. So I think in this case also we should be able to have a full as well by using a subsidiary ID. Just that it might take some time. We just have to wait a bit for it, and we have to cancel this since this is taking a long time to do. So we just have to cancel, then we go back again, and instead of using the subsidiary ID, we rather use the ID. So let's pick the purchase again. We pick the purchase order, and this time around we are going to use, let's use the ID, sales ID, purchase ID, and let's see if this will take a longer time again. It's good to do again. It's cancelled. So we'll go back to our purchase, and from the purchase let's try to bring the sales in, and let's see if we are going to have a good one. Then let's go to, since we've tried to use sales to purchase, it's not working. Let's use purchase to sales. So we go to merge, and let's try to, this time around we have in our purchase, then we are having our sales. Let's take the sales order, and let's see, trying to use subsidiary and also the subsidiary ID this time around. If it doesn't work, then I'm going to use the purchase ID and also the I'm going to use the purchase ID and the sales ID. If it doesn't work this time around, because we just have to get a connection between them, otherwise we will not be able to filter anything regarding sales and purchase. So that is why we have to create a relationship doing that. So we wait for the next 1-2 minutes, and let's see if we are still going to get what we actually, a slow machine like mine. You might be experiencing this. So this has refused to, still estimating matches based on data preview. So we are still going to cancel this because we have to move forward. But bear it in mind that we want to match sales and purchase together. Already we have inventory in sales. That is good. We should as well have probably 6 in purchase in sales and item in sales. But if that is not working, one of these should have one of those IDs. So you can try to do that. Then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to as well try to bring inventory down to this, and let me see if I can take inventory to purchase this time around, and we also have to put some to item as well. So we have our purchase. Let me go to inventory, and let's try to use the, and let's see if this will work first. I'm not going to pause the video. I'm just going to wait for the next 1 to 2 minutes, and let's see. You can see this will work perfectly fast. So I don't know why between sales and purchases having a very long time. And also remember that when we are having item to purchase was, item to sales was somehow faster, like what we have now. 25,927, 25,927 is good. So we want to move the inventory ID to, so we expand from here, uncheck everything, then we need the inventory ID. So we click OK. So that's what we have to do. And then we wait. Okay, then we can just change it to inventory ID. So we have this. Then we go back to our transform. Then we move this to, let's move to the beginning as usual. Then we are going to have it here. And let's see our purchase ID. And we should move our purchase ID to the beginning as well. So we have our purchase ID here. That's not a problem. We want to move it to, so let's wait. So we have it, then we want to move it to the beginning. So we have our purchase. Now, in this purchase, we can easily connect the purchase to inventory. Then we can also connect the sales to inventory, but we still want to connect the sales and the purchase together. But the next thing we want to do is, let's see if we can bring item down. Let's go back to home. And let's try to bring the item ID down there. And the item and the inventory also have to have their own ID. So we go back here. And we have our item. Just that this item, we might not get a full of what we need. But notwithstanding, let me see if I can connect item and inventory. If we are going to have a full join, let me see if we are going to have a full join. I'm not going to pause the video this time around. I will just wait for like 1 to 2 minutes. If it doesn't work under 1 to 2 minutes, then we cancel it. Then we move to the other ones. These are the things that we have to do in order for us to be able to have a relationship between those tables. Otherwise, if I'm analyzing item category and purchase, it's not going to give me the right chart, the right figure, the right whatever, because there is no relationship that is connecting two of them together. So that is what I'm just trying to do now. I'm trying to create a relationship between these two. And it's like this is taking time, and probably I'm going to make it to be sales and purchase. Let's cancel this and let's go back to merge, and let's wait for it to open, and this time around also the item. And let me try to use the item and the purchase this time around, item and purchase, and let me see if this is going to work faster like the other one. So we wait for like 1 minute 30 seconds. If this doesn't work, 1 minute 30 seconds, we have to move to another things. But remember that we have to have a connection between this. So we just have to have a connection between every data so that we will be able to do whatever we need to do. Otherwise, analyzing these two tables will not give us the exact what we need. So we'll wait for the next 1 to 2 minutes. If it doesn't still work, we cancel it, then we'll pick it from item. So we'll use item and pick sales out to item and pick inventory to item. So then we'll be waiting for this and this, which we can do later. So we are waiting for the next 30 seconds or thereabouts. So let's see if in the next 30 seconds we are going to have everything that we need to do. If it's not working, we cancel it. We have to move to other ones and do. So I think we only have our 30 seconds is over. So let's see if we can have another 30 seconds and let's see if we can actually have this. But I think no. So we just have to, let's cancel this. It might take a while because my machine is somehow slow this time around. So we come back to item, and from the item I'm going to put inventory first. Then already I don't have to, then I can also put sales together there. I think that should be fast. I'm not sure if I have, I'm having this inventory. Let's go to inventory and let's try to make inventory ID this connect to this. See now, in the case of the item and inventory, we have 4080 or 4080 rows, perfectly done. So we click OK. So that's already gone. So we can just let's expand this from here and let's uncheck everything and let's just pick the inventory and let's make it okay. So we have the inventory ID here. Then we rename it as inventory ID. Then we'll make it enter. Then the next thing is, before we come back here, let's see if we have, I know that we have inventory in sales. I want to see if we have item in sales as well. No, so we don't have item ideal in sales. So we go back to our item. Then we'll try to bring in the sales ID there. So let's just wait for it to load. The more we create this, the more it becomes slower because I have a lot on my machine. So we go to our match again. Then we go to, this time around we are bringing out sales. Let's bring out the sales and let me pick out the sales ID to item ID. This time around I may not have a full, but it could have been better if I have. Let me see if I'm not having it, so it will be better for me to go to sales and have item in sales. That will be more better. But let's wait and see if I'm going to have a full join. If there's no full join between item and sales, so I have to go to sales to bring the item in. And let's see, this is also taking some time to, I don't know. I just wait for about some minutes. It's because the sales and the purchase, we have a ledger, a very large data in sales and purchase. So that is why it takes a lot of time for it to actually pick from there. So I will still wait for the next 30 seconds. If you are not getting that, we have to cancel it. Then we pick from sales, we pick item from sales, then we pick item from also from purchase. That is done already. Then we can just connect those ones together from there. So we have the next 20 seconds. If nothing is done under 20 seconds, we cancel it. So we have to. And I think we don't have anything, so let's cancel it. And let's go to source. From source, and let's go to March. We're waiting. Let's go to March, and let's bring the item in. We have our item, and let's go to the item ID, sales ID. This should be fast, but just that we may not have a full join. But notwithstanding, even though we don't have a full join, we still have to use it that way. Let's wait. When we were joining item and inventory, it was a bit faster, so I don't know why this is taking some time to do. So we're just going to leave this for like 2 minutes, and let's see. On this for a while now, still is not. We're unable to connect this to this because my machine is somehow slow. So we are going to cancel this because we still just have to move it. I think we are having some problem with this cells and the item table. Should we have, what can we remove from this cells table? Let's see, line position. We don't need this line position. Let's remove it to make it more lighter. Invoice type, we can leave the invoice type, though it was not part of the analysis that I did. So, but let's leave it there. And let me see what this can remove. Is on web? No. So I see now. Let's remove this. Is web order. Let's remove this. Is intercompany. Let's remove this as well. So we should have something later now. So we have already removed that. Item rate. Oh, we need the item rate. We must not remove. Amount. Quantity bill. We need it. Quantity opened. Quantity order. We need those ones. So let's go back to sales. And let's see if we can remove some columns from the sales table as well. Any unwanted column that is not part of the analysis, we just have them removed. Like it's in dropsheet. Let's dropship. Let's remove this. We don't need it. Item rate, we need it. Is in intercompany. We don't need it. Let's remove it. So we've removed about 2 columns now. So we should be able to have something reasonable. Let's check again. Invoice type, let's leave it. Quantity order, we need those ones. Status, we need it. So we go back to this time around now. Let me see if I can bring item in from purchase. Let me try if I can bring the item in. Let's see if I can bring the item in this time around. Let me see. Let's go to the item. Let's go to purchase. We have purchase. Then we have item. And let's see if I can get it more faster because I've reduced the columns that we have. Otherwise, I have to load it. Then I will come back when we need to do any relationship. Then we'll come back to do the relationship, go back again, come back to do any relationship, go back again, because this is somehow slow and I don't know why it's taking so much time, especially from the sales and the purchase. So we just have to wait for, let's see, for about 2 minutes highest. If nothing is happening in 2 minutes, we still have to cancel, then we have to load. Then the next thing you get in mind is we are taking either sales ID to purchase or we are taking the purchase ID to sales. That is because we have to connect the sales and the purchase together. So we need a connection between them. So either you put from sales to purchase or from purchase to sales. That doesn't really matter. It's actually depends on what you really want to achieve. Then the next thing that we are going to do as well is we are going to also pick from item to this. We already have it, so we're going to pick from item to purchase and from item to sales. These are the three things that we need. So, and I'm going to do that at the back of the camera. So we start to analyze our data. So for us to get, we are just waiting for this to just give us something that we need to see. If we are not getting it, then it might be a bit slower this time around. Then we cancel it, then we go to that, and we are going to use that to do whatever we want to do. So I'm going to wait for 1 minute more. After that, if nothing is happening, I'm going to cancel it. And I've already told you what to do. Make a connection between either sales to purchase or from purchase to sales. And also bring the item ID to purchase, bring the item ID to sales. That is all we have to do. Then we are not getting it. It's taking time. So I'm going to do this thing at the back of the camera. And then we're going to, wait, let me see if it's going to bring it out in the next 1 minute. If nothing, then I have to cancel it. So I'm having this cancelled. Then I'm going to close